Florida Congressman Greg Steube here to talk about all things Trump administration and making America great again. Mr. Steube, nice to see you. Where would you like to begin? We got the speech coming up in an hour or so where President Trump's going to tout a lot of things. I know you really wanted to go off on this ridiculous vote in the Senate where we couldn't even solidify that it's boys and boys and girls and girls. So let's start there. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the positive of that. The positive of that is there's a lot of senators in tough swing states that Trump won that just voted no to allow biological men to compete with women in women's sports. And as you highlighted, it's an 80% issue across America.
Yep.
So Ossoff in Georgia just voted no. These are going to be election issues just like they were this last election to the people of Georgia, that Mr. Ossoff's out of touch with America on issues like this. And every single one of those Democratic senators in those tough districts, in those swing states that are going to be up in 2026, just took a really bad vote for America, a really good vote for Republicans wanting to flip some more seats in the Senate. That's a pickup seat for us in Georgia, and those are the type of things that is the good thing out of this. The bad thing out of this is the fact that you're still going to have trans women or biological men competing in women's sports. But the good piece of that as well is Trump, through executive order, has halted all that from happening. So you've already seen the NCAA, you've already seen the Olympic Committee, and all of these people reverse their ridiculous policies on this. So through executive order, President Trump's been able to do that. We have to pass this bill at some point, but politically it helps Republicans in 2026.
But there are still Democrats out there in the House and Senate saying stupid stuff about men in women's sports like this. Go ahead and roll this.
And they aren't going to stop being transgender just because you strip them from sports or from housing or from their health care or any other public place that you don't want us to be. And so, members, make no mistake that this is just another version of state-sanctioned bullying and genocide.
That's a Minnesota state rep on the Democrat ticket saying, Greg, you not allowing boys and girls sports is a genocide. What the hell's wrong with these people?
Yeah, I hope they don't realize what that term actually means and the millions of Jews that died in a real genocide during World War II. But to liken it to that is pretty crazy. And I'm not preventing any person from playing any athletic event. It's just, if you're a boy, you play in the boy sports. If you're a girl, you play in the girl sports.
All right.
Title IX was created over 50 years ago to protect and create women's sports. And all of this action by Democrats to undercut that have actually undercut women and undercut women's sports that Congress created through Title IX over 50 years ago. So it's pretty incredible. It just shows how far left and out of touch they are with the American people, which is why Trump won every swing state. And I think if we do all the things, and he is already doing it, but if President Trump and Congress does all the things that we said that we're going to do, the American people are going to reelect the Republican House and flip some more seats in the Senate, and we'll be able to get 4 years of great things for America.
Amen. All right, let's pivot and go to the beginning of the show here, and that is the president's address and what happened with tariffs over the last 24 hours and how now Mexico and Canada are pushing back. I know there might be a little bit of pinch in the pocketbook for a bit while these tariffs work themselves out, but in the long run, Greg, do you believe that these tariffs and what President Trump's doing will benefit the American consumer and our economy?
Yeah, 100%. You're already seeing that in what you highlighted of car manufacturers bringing their manufacturing to the United States. Just Mexico alone, we have a trade deficit with them of $140 billion. So why wouldn't we want to put America first? Why would we want to enrich Mexico with U.S. dollars and U.S. Imports from Mexico when we can flip that or at least make it even? And that's what the president's trying to do, is trying to make this even to where there is not a trade deficit with Mexico. There's not a trade deficit with Canada. And we're finally going to put America first. And we're going to bring back manufacturing to the United States. We all saw during COVID how important it is to have domestic manufacturing of PPE, domestic manufacturing of drugs, domestic manufacturing of the things that are critical to the United States. And President Trump knows that all too well, which is why he's putting America first and balancing out the trade deficits that we have with some of these countries.
All right, 30 seconds left. We touched on the economy. We touched on common sense. Immigration, we know he's doing amazing. The encounters are down to less than 200. With just a few seconds left, the last thing on the top 4 things he's going to discuss is also foreign affairs. We saw that debacle in the White House last week between Zelensky and him and JD. Do you think peace can be found between Ukraine and Russia with Trump at the helm?
Yeah, absolutely. As long as President Zelensky is willing to enter into negotiations and agreements that the President Trump and America puts together. I mean, the actions in the White House that he was this past last week were, in my opinion, very disrespectful to the United States
Agreed.
and to the president. And he's already, I think, very regretful, Zelensky is, of his behavior. And President Trump doesn't want war. He doesn't want millions of people to die. And I think he's the only one in the world that can negotiate a deal that will be good for Ukraine, it will be good for Ukrainians, it will be good for the United States, and have peace in Eastern Europe.
Amen. Let's hope it. Florida Congressman Greg Steube, as always, thank you, sir, for your input. Take care, brother. Have a good day.
Yeah, good to see you.